The confirmed number of coronavirus cases in Los Angeles County comes to 1,129,503. The confirmed number of deaths reaches 17,308. Now here in Torrance, the total number of confirmed cases is 6,109, with total confirmed deaths at 144. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Jin Chen. It's 4 p.m. on Wednesday, February 3rd. Los Angeles County Department of Public Health continues to deliver promising data as new COVID-19 cases and deaths show a steady decline. While the county has seen more than 17,000 deaths due to the virus, officials say the county experienced more than 7,000 of those deaths in just the last month alone during the holiday surge. The most recent report showed more than 5,000 new cases in a single day, a significant decline even from just a week ago. Dr. Barbara Ferrer, the county's public health director, pleaded with the public to avoid gathering this weekend for the Super Bowl. She urged the public to stay away from super spreader events, to not host parties, and to only celebrate with members in your own household, as even one party could result in more outbreaks. The Southern California region remains in the most restrictive purple tier in the state's blueprint for a safer economy, with 41.8 new COVID-19 positive cases per 100,000 people per day and an 8.7% positivity rate. Well, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is letting educators know, despite not having been vaccinated for the coronavirus, science and data is showing that it's safe to return to the classroom and bring students back for in-person learning. The new director of the CDC, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, says vaccination of teachers is not a prerequisite for safe reopening, and said social distancing and wearing face masks significantly reduces the spread of the virus in school settings. President Joe Biden pledged to bring all K-8 students back in the classroom for in-person instruction in the first 100 days of his administration. Under the CDC's vaccination plan, teachers are prioritized as essential workers. Well, CVS Health announced their pharmacies will soon begin offering COVID-19 vaccines throughout the state. Nearly 100 of the company's pharmacies, including several locations across Southern California, plan to administer close to 82,000 doses starting next Thursday. CVS will begin taking appointments starting next Tuesday, February 9th. Now, those eligible to receive the vaccine must fall under the state's current vaccine rollout plan, which puts adults 65 and older at the front of the line. Officials say more CVS pharmacies will offer the vaccine once the supply of doses increases. Now, to register online or to make an appointment, go to cvs.com or call 800-746-7287. One grocery chain is stepping up during the pandemic to show their appreciation for their employees. Trader Joe's announced beginning this week they've increased their thank you wage to all employees across the U.S. with an additional $2 an hour, offering crew members now $4 more during the pandemic. Company officials said on their website the increase is in recognition of the outstanding, inspiring work they do every day in our stores and our communities. The company has also provided additional safety measures for their employees as well as customers by adding plexiglass barriers to enhance social distancing efforts, limiting capacity, enhancing cleaning protocols, offering additional paid sick time to crew members, and conducting wellness checks prior to the start of each employee's shift. In Los Angeles County, workplaces, retail shops, and grocery stores have been among the largest source of COVID-19 spread. Electric car company Tesla is recalling nearly 135,000 vehicles due to faulty touchscreens. Certain 2012 through 2018 Model S sedans and 2016 through 2018 Model X SUVs may have a problematic screen which can disable the backup cameras as well as the exterior turn signal light and cause windshield defrosters to not work properly. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration made the recall request in a formal letter to Tesla last month, stating the listed models pose a serious safety concern. Tesla officials say they will replace a defective part and reimburse customers who've paid to replace a part that failed because of lifetime wear. A popular service is branching out as the mobile ride-hailing company Uber Technologies announced plans to buy on-demand alcohol delivery service Drizly for just over $1 billion in stock and cash. The Boston-based company delivers alcohol in 26 U.S. states, including California. They partner with retailers in 1,400 cities to deliver beer, wine, and spirits to customers through its mobile app. Now, once the acquisition is complete, Drizly will become a subsidiary of Uber, and while it will be integrated with the Uber Eats app, company officials say it will maintain a separate standalone Drizly app. Uber CEO Dara Khosrowshahi says wherever you want to go and whatever you need to get, our goal at Uber is to make people's lives a little bit easier. According to their press release, Drizly is the leading on-demand alcohol marketplace in the U.S. The app is designed to be fully compliant with local regulations when it comes to the sale of alcohol. The first theme park in California announced plans to reopen this spring. California's Great America, located in Santa Clara, about 5.5 hours north of Torrance, set a scheduled reopening date for May 22nd. They issued a statement saying, "We look forward to welcoming you back to a fun and safe environment. We continue to monitor state guidelines and work with industry and government officials to ensure our reopening plan meets all required health and safety regulations." Cedar Fair is the parent company, which also owns Knott's Berry Farm here in Southern California. Large amusement parks such as California's Great America are allowed to reopen when the counties they are in reach the least restrictive yellow or minimal tier in the state's blueprint for a safer economy. It looks like for now, Snoopy and the gang will be headed north to greet friends once again. Well, El Camino College announced a special opportunity this week for its journalism students. ECC will be the only community college in California to join 16 other colleges and universities nationwide for the new NBCU Academy. Comcast NBC Universal News Group announced the launch of the Academy half a year after committing to spend $100 million over 3 years to help combat racism and injustice following the deaths of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. The Academy is an innovative multi-platform journalism training and development program. Community college and university students are expected to learn through both on-campus training and online programming. The Academy will collaborate with professors to develop seminar courses, provide equipment to students, and introduce guest lecturers from CNBC, MSNBC, NBC News, and Telemundo, offering real-world insight and mentorship. The NBCU Academy will invest a total of $6.5 million to the initiative, which includes scholarships totaling $3.5 million over the next 2 years. The Torrance Unified School District is bringing a new academic program to families, and they are inviting the community to learn more about it. TUSD is excited to announce the launch of a Spanish 2A dual immersion program with kinder enrollment beginning soon. The virtual information session will take place next week on Wednesday, February 10th. There will be a 5 p.m. session in English and a second session at 6:30 p.m. in Spanish. Data shows dual immersion enhances academic achievement, cognitive development, and increases listening and communication skills among students. To learn more or for questions, call the district at 310-972-6006. Torrance residents, if you have an experience or opinion you'd like to share about Torrance Park, the city wants to hear from you. The city is applying for the California statewide park development and community revitalization program for Torrance Park, and the city is hoping to learn more about park goers' experiences and thoughts on the current conditions of the park. The survey consists of 7 short questions. It asks how frequently you and your family visit Torrance Park. It also asks you to rate the overall quality and condition of the park, whether you feel the park is safe, and what reasons prevent you from visiting. You can go to torranceca.gov/Torrance Park and click on the Share Your Experience box. Well, it's been nearly a year now since the coronavirus pandemic took over all aspects of our world. And starting this month, we are launching a new series called Wellness Wednesday. The series will tap into professionals and experts here in the South Bay who can give us some tangible advice on how to not only survive but thrive during these uncertain times. And kicking off the series this week is Christine Lee and her special guest, licensed marriage and family therapist Melissa Dumas.
Thanks, Jen. Many of us are having trouble coping with COVID-19 and all of the restrictions and worries that come along with it. Melissa Dumas is here to help us overcome some of these obstacles. She's actually been helping clients with this exact situation, and I'm so happy to connect with her online to share some great words of wisdom and advice. Melissa, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Christine. Happy to be here.
So coping through COVID is a universal issue we're all facing right now. What are some of the biggest reasons clients are coming to you for help?
A lot of them. So some of those reasons are the stressors of COVID-19. Some of those reasons are the grief and loss. And grief and loss, not just in family members or friends that have been impacted by COVID-19, but also the grief and loss of a job, or the grief and loss of some of the freedoms that we once had prior to the pandemic. And so people are experiencing a lot of that. And that what I'm also noticing too, that some people are now in this place of being able to be still, and to be still long enough that they're realizing that there were some things that in their either childhood or in their recent past that they never really fully recovered from. And they feel like, okay, now that I have to sit still for so long, I don't want to sit in this pain. Now is an opportunity for me to work on myself and to heal from some of these past things.
Well, what are some ways people can find healing, or at least start that process of relieving themselves of some of the stress that comes with COVID-19?
One of those ways, I think, is trying to identify what we can and what we cannot control. You know, there's only so much that we can control with the pandemic. Like, we can't control who has access to the vaccine right now. We can't control what strangers are doing or who's wearing a mask and who's not. But what we can control is ourselves. We can control if we allow people to come into our home at this time. We can control if we go to gatherings. We can't control if our neighbors gather, but we can control if we gather. We can control, you know, our own sanitization too. Like, I can control how often I wash my hands or how cleanly I keep myself. I can control, you know, my diet, things of that nature. So just exploring the things that you have within your control and finding a way to control those things. And then also setting yourself up with some sort of routine. Since so many things are out of sorts, you know, a routine is something that we can control too. What our morning looks like, what our midday looks like, what our evening looks like. Those are things that we do have control over.
These are great reminders, and I've personally found that keeping some sort of an active routine, like going to the driving range or taking a walk every morning, really helps me to regulate my mood. Are these the types of activities that you recommend to others?
Absolutely, absolutely. Doing things that can get you active naturally helps to induce those happy hormones, you know, those endorphins. So anything that you can do to get active, whether that's going for a walk, a bike ride, a jog, or even if you feel like you don't want to go outside, finding some sort of way to walk around your home or to do yoga, getting yourself active definitely helps with that. And if that's not your thing, possibly journaling, identifying a friend that you can talk to. What I'm noticing too, that a lot of people are missing, people especially now that are working from home, they don't have that commute. And as much as like stressful a commute could be, for some people that was part of their routine, whether it was listening to the radio or the news or having the quiet time in the car or listening to a book or a podcast or music. Now people don't even have that. And so we don't realize these little parts of our day that we were possibly pouring back into ourselves that now we don't have access to. So we have to be mindful and alert about how we can do that now given the circumstance.
And as we approach nearly a year of having to stay confined, social distanced, unable to see and do the things we normally do, experts call it COVID fatigue. What advice do you have that's tangible? I think local health officials are all saying with the vaccine there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but what else can people do?
They can also call it for what it is. It's exhausting. It really is. And let's normalize that for everyone, you know, to have this, you know, just of an attitude like, oh, we're going to get through it. Oh, we're all in this together. Like, all of that feels good and it sounds great, but it's exhausting. exhausting. And it's even exhausting for those who have, these list of coping skills and all the things that they can do. So just naming it for what it is, honoring your feelings, honoring your thoughts, and knowing that you're not alone in that. We are collectively in this, trauma experience. And so, acknowledging that and calling it for what it is. And I think that could be part of it. And then also giving yourself what you need, listening to your body. If your body says you need rest, if your body says you need to be active, if your body says you don't need to be alone right now, call someone. Honoring that and listening to your body, listening to your mind and your spirit during this time is so important.
That's great. Anything else you want to share that can help us all handle COVID-19 a little bit better than we may be?
Right, absolutely. Talking to someone, if you're in a position to see a therapist or to see a professional, that can be extremely important. And then also, I'm a big fan of journaling. Journaling can be extremely helpful. If things are too frustrating or too much for you, also getting that energy out, if that means, taking that frustration out and yelling into a pillow. I'm a big fan of taking old mail and shredding it, because sometimes the energy is just building within us and we need to be able to get it out. And the ways that we may have been able to get it out in the past, we can't. And so now we have to find new ways to be able to cope with that.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us, Melissa.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
And you can learn more about Melissa and her work as a therapist at youhelpyou.com.
Thanks so much, Christine. Looking forward to many more Wellness Wednesdays. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share stories from our community, feel-good pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. Well, the local church in Torrance is showing their support of our first responders with a very generous gift. The leadership team, consisting of 3 pastors from the Bread of Life Church in Torrance, came to Torrance City Hall this afternoon to make a formal donation of 50,000 surgical face masks. Councilwoman Heidi Ashcraft presented a certificate of appreciation from the City of Torrance. Torrance City Manager, along with Torrance Fire Chief and members of the Fire Department, were also there to receive the masks. The pastors at the Bread of Life Church, located on Lomita Boulevard, reached out to Councilman George Chen, letting him know they'd like to contribute and support Torrance first responders and help keep them safe during the pandemic. Now, this is not the first outreach effort offered by Bread of Life. They've also held food and clothing drives at their church during the pandemic, as well as having meals delivered to Torrance's first responders. And they hope their latest gift will go a long way in helping to protect those on the front lines. What a generous act of kindness and a great example of community members coming together to support one another. Now, if you have a great story, photo, or video you'd like to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that's our update for COVID-19 today. We'll see you right back here tomorrow as Ben McCain brings you the latest. Be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.